Hi Vic, and welcome to this week's strength and conditioning session. You've got the write-up in your programme, so you've got the list of equipment you need for this. Like I've said in the write-up, if you need to change the order of the exercises to enable you to get on the machines, then that's absolutely fine. As long as we do all three exercises together with no break in between, 15 to 20 reps of each, then a 2-minute break, a core exercise, another 2-minute break, and on to the next set of 3 exercises. I've kind of loosely called these trisets. Triset is when you do 3 exercises with no break in between for the same muscle or muscle group. Because some of the exercises we're doing you have to do on one side and then the other, it's not strictly speaking a classic triset, but it's close enough for me to give it that label. Okay, so make sure you've done a good warm-up, make sure you've had a stretch as well as doing some cardio, you've got all your kit lined up, and let's get on with the first set of exercises. So we're going to start off with a deadlift. You've done deadlifts before using a barbell. You can also do them using a kettlebell. So I'm going to show you that today, and you can choose which you would rather do. It's the same movement whether you're using a bar or a bell. You squat yourself down, both hands on the bar or the handle, chests up, shoulders are out, down and slightly back. Keep your head and chest up, and by using your bum muscles, so effectively tucking your bottom under, lift yourself up and then go down again. The weight just touches down briefly. You don't let the floor start doing the work for you. And it's a nice cadence of 1, 2, 3, up, 3, 2, 1, down. And for this, as with all the other exercises today, you're going to do between 15 and 20 repetitions. So choose your starting weight accordingly. Once you've done those, pop that weight to one side and you're going to go straight into a back squat, which is a normal squat, but you're going to use a barbell sat across the big muscles of your back. So you're going to get your a bar, deadlift it up to your shoulders, overhead, my hands have just disappeared off screen, and then get the bar settled on the big muscles across the top of your shoulders. All right, it's not scrunched up into your neck, it's just resting on your trapezius, primarily on your trapezius muscles. And then it says for any other squat, head and chest up, tummy in, bum under, weight goes back, knees don't go forward of your toes. We squat down, 2, 3, pause, 3, 2, 1. Down. Think about making sure that your knees aren't dropping outwards or caving inwards. You want to keep everything pointing forwards. Your head and chest lifted. Once you've done between 15 and 20 of those, you just reverse the movement, push up, down, lower, and then back down onto the floor. And then you're on to the final exercise of this first 3, which is a split squat. You can do this with or without weight. If you want to do it with weight, you've got a number of choices. You could do it as you did the back squat with a barbell across your shoulders. You could do it with a single dumbbell or a kettlebell, which is what I'm going to do, holding the weight on your chest. Or you could do it with the weight down by your side, and I'll show you that as well. Regardless of what you're choosing, you need a bench and you need to get yourself balanced so your back foot is on the bench, and I've got the top of my foot on the bench. I'm just very conscious of making sure that my hips are level, my knee is straight over my ankle, and I'm standing up nice and tall. I'll show you first with the weight down at the side. So it could be a dumbbell, could be a kettlebell like I've got. You set up nice and straight and you bend the front knee so that your back knee goes straight down towards the floor. So you're trying to keep your back thigh vertical and get your front knee to 90 degrees. If you're a bit wobbly with your balance, this is probably the best way to start, with the weight in one hand on the same side as the front knee. If you want to try holding the kettlebell or dumbbell further up, I'm just going to swap legs here. Exactly the same setup. Make sure there's a decent space between your feet. You're on skis, not a tightrope. Exactly the same. Trying to get 90 degrees in your front leg and your back knee straight down towards the floor with your thigh vertical. Okay, and if you're feeling really funky about it, deadlift your weight up, 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 down. Same setup, same exercise. So you've got 3 options there to have a play around with. And as you're going to do it, 15 to 20 reps on one side and then 15 to 20 on the other. If you want to try different weight patterns for each of them, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so a deadlift, a back squat, and a split squat. You then get 2 minutes rest, and then we're on to a Swiss ball core exercise. We'll just have a quick tidy up. And we're going to do a Swiss ball pike. So you need to get yourself onto your Swiss ball, and you need to be far enough forward, which I'm not. Let me just try that one again. There we go, a little bit further, so that your feet are hooked over the Swiss ball. You're in a nice strong plank position, gazes straight down, neck's long, wrists, shoulders, elbows all in one vertical line if possible. And then you're just going to bend your knees in and take them out. Bend in and take them out. Don't be tempted to rush. It's a nice slow movement. I've said 15 to 20 reps. That's too much today, that's absolutely fine. Just do as many as works for you. Once you're done, roll yourself backwards carefully. There's no elegant way of getting off a Swiss ball, and pop it to one side. You get another 2 minutes rest, and then we go on to our second round of exercises. First one we're going to do, this is going to be upper body stuff, so we're going to do a bent over row, a pull down, and then a latissimus dorsi pull over. So for the bent over row, back to our trusty barbell, lift up as a deadlift, and then what you're going to do, soft bend in your knees, go as if you're sort of halfway into a squat. So your weight's back in your heels, but your tummy's pulled in and your bum's tucked under to protect your lower back. Nice firm overhand grip on the bar, and you're going to row the bar up and down. What I'm thinking about, as well as keeping my tummy pulled in and my bottom tucked under, is trying to keep my elbows as close into my body as possible. So they're going straight back, they're not sticking out or doing anything else a bit funky. And basically you're coming up to chest level. Okay, so we're going to do 15 to 20 of those, and then you're going to go straight over to the pull down machine and do 15 to 20 pull downs at the front. Nice wide grip on the bar. Try and keep your shoulders pulling down rather than letting them shoot up towards your ears. And then for the finale on this set, we're going to do a latissimus dorsi pullover. So you can do this with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. I'm just going to do it with a sandbag because that's a convenient weight for me. Lie yourself down on the bench, tummy's pulled in, back's pressed into the bench. You can have your feet on the floor or on the bench. You're going to put the weight straight up above your breastbone. Okay, so it's over your sternum, not your face. Firm grip with both hands, tiny little bend in the elbows, and keeping your shoulder blades pulling down your back, lower the weight over your head. Now, don't let your elbows bend. Okay, so we're not doing this. That's a triceps exercise. We're doing this, and by pulling our shoulder blades down our back, we're working the long muscles of our back, latissimus dorsi. Latissimus means running up and down. Dorsi means your back, big muscles up and down your back. And as with all of the others, we're going to try for between 15 and 20 reps. Once you've done that, you get another 20 seconds exercise. Sorry, that was completely wrong. 2 minutes rest, not 20 minutes exercise. And then we're back to the Swiss ball. But this time we're going to lie on the floor. It's easier to get on and off, if nothing else. Grip the ball with your heels and really pull it in towards your bottom. And you can either have your hands behind your neck, making sure that your elbows are out to the side. You can only just catch sight of them in your peripheral vision. And I've got my thumbs down my neck just to give it a bit of support. Or if you prefer, you can have your arms across your chest or even up above your shoulders. I'm going to stick with my hands behind my neck because I've got a bit of a dodgy neck and I find this more comfortable. And by pulling my tummy in, I'm going to lift up. Now, I'm not curling up. I'm trying to lift my chest up to the ceiling and then lower down. So I'm not lifting up very far, but I can feel my abdominal muscles really working to lift that up. All right, so I'm looking over my toes, pulling my tummy in and keeping my elbows out. Try for 15 to 20. If we don't get there today, that's absolutely fine. Do as many as you can, and then you get another 2 minutes rest. I'll pop the Swiss ball out of the way. Then we're on to our third and final set for today. And this is going to be a glute bridge, which we can do with or without weight, and some eccentric one-legged squats. So for the glute bridge, we know what we're doing with the basic move. I'm trying not to whack my head on the kettlebell. Feet hip width apart, heels as close to your bum as you can. And we roll your pelvis up, push knees away, making sure that they're not collapsing in, not dropping out. Up till we've just got a nice straight line from knee to hip to shoulder. What you don't want to be doing is this, and I don't want you sagging down here either. So we've got options. We can just do the straight up and down glute bridge. We can do a glute bridge, knee lift one side, knee lift the other side, roll down again. And with this, you're really concentrating on keeping your hips level as you lift one knee and then the other. Or the final option is actually to add some weight. And the power bags or a medicine ball are really good for this. I'm going to show you using my trusty kettlebell. But basically what you do is get the weight balanced across your hips. So as you push up, you're pushing more weight than you normally would. Okay, so I've got that balance basically on my bladder, which thankfully I did empty before we started. And I'm just going to push up and roll down exactly as I would normally, but because of the weight, there's some extra resistance. So my gluteal muscles and my hamstrings are having to work a little bit harder. You don't have to add in any resistance if you don't want. And actually, if this is one you want to do at home, just using a TheraBand over your hips and holding it on the floor will give you additional resistance as well. Should be able to manage 15 or 20 of those without too many difficulties. And then we're on to our final leg exercise, which is a one-legged eccentric squat. You can do this with or without weight. So eccentric is the sitting down portion. So the basic exercise is standing up nice and tall. take your weight onto one leg and then lower yourself down as slowly and with as much control as you can. Stand up anywhere you fancy and then go again. And that might be enough for today. If you do want to add some weight in, then starting point would be holding it on the same side as your supporting leg. There we go. And that really does make a difference. And if you really wanted to challenge yourself, then hold it up across your chest. So using a kettlebell or a dumbbell. I'm not sure I can actually do this today. I have slightly tired legs. I did quite a lot yesterday. I was losing control at the end there. You may well find that doing 15 to 20 of those on each side without any weight is enough. If you do decide to add some weight in, then I suggest just taking the reps down to maybe just doing 10 or even less, depending on how you're feeling. Okay, once you've done that, you get another 2 minutes rest, and then we've got our final Swiss ball exercise. Again, lying on the floor rather than trying to balance on the Swiss ball. The ball's trapped between your ankles, arms are above your head, and you're going to lift the ball up, transfer it to your hands, lower everything down, lift back up again, lower everything down. Make sure you keep your tummy pulled in and your back flat against the floor. If you find that you're struggling to keep your back against the floor, or you feel you're pulling your back, then bend your legs and bend your arms so the levers are shorter, not going out as far, or just lower your arms and then just lower your legs. Okay, so there's lots of ways you can vary that depending on how tired your tummy muscles are feeling. Once you've done that, you get another 2 minutes rest, and then you've got a choice. You can either go back around the whole thing again, maybe change the weight down a little bit, or do a few less repetitions on the second run round because you'll be tired, or you can go straight into doing some cool down stretches. And as always, I strongly recommend including a lying twist in those, just to get into your lower back and your hip and leg muscles. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy that. Drop me a line if there's anything that's not clear or you've got any questions, and hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up again soon.